Today I'm here with Jacob, who's developed our website Navigator. So yeah, welcome Jacob, and thanks for all the hard work and what is an absolute groundbreaking product. So tell me a little bit about the website Navigator and what it does and why we've developed it.
Yeah, sure. So I think you've kind of got to look at the whole trend of where web and AI is going, because actually how people are using the web and searching and finding things and looking to be served is really changing in the development of platforms like ChatGPT, Claude. Things aren't just keywords anymore. It's actually, I've got a problem and I want to explain it as a human would naturally, as through conversation. And that's what we want to bring to the web, essentially, is that, there's all these platforms that you can use, but actually when it comes to website experience, it's still click, navigate, find, read, scroll, which are all making the user hunt for the information themselves rather than it being brought to them through conversation.
I think one of the biggest things with it there is the anonymity. We spend all this marketing budget driving visitors to our website, and if we're lucky, and I mean really lucky, we get to find out who 10% of them are. So 90% of the visitors hit the website. We never know anything about them, and we've got sort of quite rudimentary things on websites like chatbots and heat mapping software and that kind of stuff. So what's different about the Navigator?
Okay, yeah, because that is probably the most common question is how does this compare to a chatbot? And you're right in bringing up the fact that we were looking for a conversion rate tool. Essentially, it doesn't necessarily bring you more traffic, but it converts at a higher rate of the traffic you already have, plus gives you great visibility on what people are wanting when they do arrive on site through different channels, and that's why it's a great marketing tool. And we can get into that a little bit more. But yeah, I think that why this is different to a chatbot is that it's much more natural, and they're not going down a funnel of a series of questions or flows that are predefined. And if you hit a mistake in there and it's trying to reroute you, that can be quite frustrating for a user. So people can jump on, have a question about a particular product or service in the way that makes sense to them, and then the AI can respond in that way. And also a major capability we have is remembering people as when they come back, knowing where they've came from in terms of channels, and also the marketing sources and things like that. What have they looked at previously? What was their intent last time? And being able to pick up those chats from that position rather than starting cold every time. And also being able to give people the opportunity to speak to it through their own voice as well, in a similar way that you would with a phone call, is a huge thing, because people don't have as much time as they used to. They don't want to be typing out all these lengthy prompts as they would to explain their problem. Actually, being able to speak to it really helps speed up that engagement discovery.
Okay, so I mean, I guess we've got two types of journey, if you like, on a website. One is a typical lead gen type journey, and another is an e-com journey. So if we take the lead gen journey, for argument's sake, so the Navigator appears. Does it just know what's on the website, or what else does it do?
So we can scrape your website to find all that written content that's already there, potentially in blogs, articles, FAQs, all that kind of substance that we can really, that was always historically the way of people finding out information. It's through blogs and articles and FAQs. But actually, this Navigator becomes a bit of a salesperson technical knowledge hub, essentially, in the way that we train it and give it its knowledge base. So it doesn't just take information from the website that you provide it. You can also give it years of experience through documents that your team produces, whether it's people that are on the sales floor or it's people behind the scenes that are actually doing the work with all that technical knowledge behind the scenes.
Okay, and then is it correct that if we look at ecom, for argument's sake, my understanding is that we can ask it to navigate the entire website. It can put products in a basket. It can cross-sell. It can upsell, and it can assist with checkout. Is that broadly correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess if we look at what normally would happen on a website. Let's say, for example, you're looking to buy a pair of socks. You go into a store in person. You go to the rack that's got the sock on it. You know that you're a size whatever you are. You pick it up. You go to the checkout. You can self-checkout, and then you can go. But what about if you're looking for a product that has much more depth to it? Okay, I'm looking for something personally for me that's gonna help me with a particular goal. So if we change that example from socks to running shoes, okay, then we start to think about the injuries you might have had before, the fit, how do you run, are you pronated, are you not, that kind of thing as well. So it's almost as if at that scenario, you're going to a shop and then you're having an assistant help you find the right thing for you.
And this thing can do that.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So let's just go back to the lead gen scenario. Could I interact with it? Say I was, running some kind of consultancy service. So say it was hair transplants or something like that. And I thought, okay, I want to ask some technical questions. And then I thought, actually, I want to speak to somebody at their operation. Could it actually put me through from a telephone call point of view?
Yeah, okay. we have all human handoff stuff to be able to take you through if you wanted to, transfer that call to WhatsApp, or whether you wanted to directly pick up a phone call from there to speak to the team behind the desk.
And does the user of the website get full visibility of every single chat?
Basically, it's all based on leads. So if you convert, your transcript gets provided to you. So you'll get a reference number of what that conversation was. So when you do end up speaking to a human or the person behind the team, the admin at the company, they can pull up that reference and see what your transcript was and pick up from there.
Okay, so what we're actually able to see is potential frustrations that people have had with a website. So rather than having something like Lucky Orange or something with just relying on heat mapping and this kind of thing, we've got visibility of this person landing on this page. They then interact with a various different chat, or they express a challenge that they're having, and that could unearth UX UI opportunities that the website owner never even realized existed.
Absolutely, yeah, because we're transitioning from just being able to get click and session and bounce data to actually being able to find out what people are asking, what made them leave, what was the question that stopped them and made them leave. Because otherwise we just see a timestamp and we see a session ending. This is the first time we've been able to actually engage with the user, find more information, even if we're not yet capturing their name, email address, phone number. We're still seeing what people are asking from the different channels across marketing too.
Give me some examples of the successes that we've seen in terms of percentage uplift on various metrics. What have you seen?
Yeah, of course. So we're looking at essentially engaging the user with the chatbot around 20% of all website visits. And then when they convert, we're actually seeing upwards of 30% to 40% conversion rate when they're actually engaging and having a conversation as well.
Wow, that's meaningful. So I guess, what we're able to see is significantly more data on users that enriches our database pool. So that's huge. And then an uplift in conversion levels as well. But also the ability to seamlessly complete actions, whether that's e-com actions, telephony actions, booking appointments, any of those kind of things that have traditionally been a friction point between a website and the actual business itself.
Yeah,